You said one sentence, just one, and the room went dead silent. Not the polite quiet. The other kind. The kind where someone's fork stops halfway to their mouth and your host's eye twitches like a cartoon character who just stepped on a Lego. You have absolutely no idea what you just said. But the real answer is way weirder than "you made a mistake." Every language learner has a moment like this. You reach for a word you are 100% sure is harmless, and it goes off like a tiny verbal grenade. Here's what's actually happening in your brain, and it is not your fault. It is just embarrassing. You're not translating word by word, even though it feels that way. Your brain is juggling two entire language systems at once, like a circus performer who occasionally drops a flaming torch directly into the conversation. Linguist François Grosjean spent decades studying bilingual minds, and he found something genuinely funny if you think about it long enough. Bilingual speakers aren't two separate monolingual people glued together in one skull. They're a totally different kind of speaker, with both languages humming away under the hood at all times, even when only one of them is supposed to be driving. That's why a Spanish speaker might confidently tell someone in English, "I am exciting," which, depending on tone, is either a confusing grammar mistake or a deeply concerning personal announcement. That's why a French learner might casually ask to borrow something using a verb that, in English, belongs strictly in a different kind of movie. Your brain grabbed the closest sounding word off the shelf. It just forgot to check the label. So why does this always seem to happen with exactly the worst possible word? Because the wrong words are rarely random. They cluster around the body, emotion, and anything mildly intimate. Like your brain has a tiny gremlin whose entire job is sabotage. Linguists call these words false friends, which is honestly far too gentle a name for what they do to you at dinner parties. The Italian word preservativo does not mean preservative, it means condom. Somewhere out there, right now, an Italian tourist is sincerely asking an American waiter if the jam contains any. The Spanish word embarazada does not mean embarrassed, it means pregnant. You can imagine how many extremely confusing family dinners that one has personally ruined. Here is the part that should make you feel better instead of worse. Linguist Stephen Krashen, who spent his career studying how people actually pick up new languages, found that mistakes like these are not signs you're failing. They're signs you have an active, functioning language system that is bold enough to take swings. The learner who never says anything weird is usually the learner who never says anything at all. The silence in the room isn't judgment, it's shock. And the half second after the silence breaks is almost always laughter. Not a permanent ban from future holidays. But in the moment, none of that helps. In the moment, you feel like you just accidentally announced something on a megaphone. Think about why that sting is so specific. The words that go wrong this way aren't random grammar rules. They're words wired straight to your gut, your feelings, the stuff you blurt out without thinking in your first language. When that wire gets crossed in a new language, it doesn't feel like a small vocabulary slip. It feels like you just overshared with the entire room by accident. That's the real reason this kind of mistake stings way more than messing up a verb tense ever could. Linguists have a name for this whole mess, the false friend trap, and it shows up in basically every language pair on Earth. French and English alone share something like 1,700 words that look like cousins, but quietly grew up to mean completely different things, mostly because Norman French invaded English vocabulary back in 1066, and then everyone's meanings just drifted apart for 1,000 years. Spanish and Italian share even more, since they both came from Latin, and then slowly wandered off in their own directions, one confusing word at a time. So when you say the wrong thing, you're not just making a mistake. You're personally tripping over 1,000 years of language history that forgot to leave you a warning label. And here's the twist nobody tells you. The mistakes that mortify you the most are usually proof you're getting closer to fluency, not further from it. Beginners stay safe. They memorize hello, thank you, and where is the bathroom, and nothing else. It's the intermediate and advanced learners who start reaching for nuance, emotion, and a little intimacy in a new language, which is exactly the minefield where false friends live. The horrifying silence you dread is basically a side effect of you leveling up. Native speakers step on these same landmines too, just in their own language, just less often, because they've had a lifetime